our lawyers and our HR team has a heart attack. The teams that we had in Ukraine were more productive than our local teams in the US.
Today, we have the founder and CEO of a company called Mirigos. This founder has a service business that does 5 million a year, and they have a software solution that is the next evolution of the service business.
Stop differentiating remote people with local people. And then you're going to show up for an interview, and there's somebody on your Zoom call who is an AI avatar. That happens too now. Measure what's important. Don't measure time they spend in office. I don't care.
So we will go deep on hiring, finding talent, and also talk about some interesting things which is going on. It's a fun episode. Grab a cup of coffee and let's watch together. Good day, Zhenya. How are you doing? From where do you come to us in Riga?
I literally just got off the plane about 2 hours ago, coming from Los Angeles.
Let's go. Let's go. So I want to talk briefly about your businesses. So this is one of the businesses. It's called Mirigos. You have it also on the shirt.
Yep.
How big is the business? How much money the business makes per year?
We're over $5 million in revenue.
What does the business do, by the way? So here it is. It's the staff augmentation.
Yes, it's a team augmentation, staff augmentation type of company. So we're not an outsourcing company, but we do help our clients hire engineering talent in Europe and Latin America. So we work in 2 regions. That's what we focus on. And the idea is, unlike outsourcing companies that have their own staff and they place them on contracts, and that comes with a lot of problems of its own, we go and we search for the right candidate for a particular position, for a particular role, and they work, even though technically they work through us, but they really work for the company and fully aligned with the company.
So you said Latin America and Europe, that's where you get the talent? Or
Yes.
That's the talent source. Who are your customers?
Most are US-based. We do have few in Europe and Middle East, but vast majority is in US.
Nice. We will definitely talk about how you get the customers, because I think that's relevant information for every business to know and kind of get your know-how and tips and tricks. How profitable is the business?
It's profitable.
Above million, below million?
We don't discuss that. We're not a public company, so
and how many people you have?
We have about 100 people working for us, meaning contractors that work for different clients.
And for that are basically Mirigos employees, or they're Mirigos?
They're all Mirigos employees, but
kind of
they're assigned to a client, right? So they work through us. They're on our payroll.
Yes.
They're our employees, but they work for somebody else.
Cool. And then you told me that last year you have this kind of marketplace for finding machine learning jobs, finding engineering jobs. So what is this business and how much money does this business do per year? So
we launched this business last year, and the idea, it's a software, it's a marketplace, sort of self-service platform for people to go and look for talent. The idea was to shift the whole perception of how people are hired. We used to hire people based on a resume, but we strongly believe the right way to hire is by getting the right person who happens to have the right skills, as opposed to finding the perfect skill set and then hope that they're the right person. And so this whole business is built around personality and how to build that and how to filter people based on what are you looking for. Granted, skills are important as well.
And how much money does this software?
So we're making about 50 to 70,000 per month. Interestingly enough, we're very much questioning if that business should continue or not.
But why? It's kind of good growth, I think, in 1 year.
It's a good growth. It's a good business. It has hit us a bit directly in our service business, which is more profitable and more interesting. But it also, the competition in that business is becoming really severe. And we're just sort of where we're seeing it's going, that may not survive.
Interesting. Okay. So today we have a lot of topics I would love to discuss with you, such as like how to motivate a remote team, how to get the right programmers, how to find your, CTO for your software businesses, because I see actually many people struggle with that, because I meet a lot of kind of tech entrepreneurs. We're looking always for this tech co-founder and have big problems with that. I think not just in Latvia, but I think overall everywhere. Yeah. So, but I wanted to start off with actually, how did you start this business that does 5 million? What was the reason why you started it, and when was it?
So it started As a full-time business, as what I do full-time, started in 2014.
2014.
Yeah. My background, I spent almost 35 years in software development. I started as an engineer, became a manager. Then I was a VP of engineering, CTO. I worked for a bunch of startups. I was a co-founder in some startups, and I worked for some large enterprise level companies. And I always faced the same thing. Everybody came with outsourcing. Hey, we're going to get a team in country A. We're going to get a team in country B. We're going to do outsource. And everybody had a problem. And I'm talking about, I had a problem with various companies, various providers, various countries, everything. It was always a problem. I talked to all my friends, and they all were all, we're having problems, it just doesn't work. So I'm an engineer. So at some point, I was hired by a company. I was actually hired by, to be VP of engineering for a larger company. And they said, well, here you go. You got to figure out this outsourcing thing, right? We have two teams. One was in India, one was in China. It doesn't work. Go figure it out. I'm like, it doesn't work. You want me to figure it out? It just doesn't work. So again, being an engineer, I sat down and I figured what doesn't work, why doesn't not work, right? Everybody complains about the same thing. And I figured that the fundamental problem is the misalignment of motivation, misalignment of resources. In a typical outsourcing business, you've got three parties that are playing a role. There's a customer, a client. What do they want? They want somebody who does a good job, cares about the job they do, and they pay them a fair amount of money. Then you have a person that gets up every morning and shows up for work. What do they want? A typical person wakes up in the morning and they want to do a good job. An average person, they don't get up like, today I don't want to work. Like, they do a good job. And they want to be respected. They want to play a role in the software, in the product they're building, and they want to get paid fairly. So far, so good. But then we get the third party, and that's the middleman. That's the outsourcing company. They're motivated by profit. And they should be motivated by profit. They're a business. That's what they do. But now there's where disconnect comes in. So the company says, I want to hire somebody who's really good. And the outsourcing provider says, well, I have several people, but they're not all equally priced. So my motivation is to give you the cheapest person so my profit is higher.
Okay.
And there's so many things where it goes wrong. Or forget about the money. The person gets up in the morning and their manager, who is the outsourcing company, comes in and says, well, tomorrow I'm moving you to a different project. And they're like, why? I don't want to work on this project. I don't know anything about this project. I like my previous project. But it's a business decision that they made that this person needs to go work on this other project. And then the third, and this is probably the biggest problem of outsourcing model, is what's called a bench. So any outsourcing company has a number of people on the bench. About 10%, meaning there are people that are actively employed, but they're not active in any given project. So when the new client comes in and says, I want to hire somebody, they're obviously motivated to put somebody who's on the bench to pull them off. Is that the right person? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. They may have the right skills, but do they have the right personality? I don't know. Is that the person that's going to get up in the morning and go, yeah, that's the client, that's the product, that's who I care about, that's what I want to do? I don't know. So anyway, long story short, when I joined that company, I was like, okay, I'm going to do it in a different way. We're not going to use an outsourcing company. We're going to build our own team. So fine. We started looking, we started trying to figure out where to do this. I had some prior experience with working with a team in Ukraine. I was a co-founder of a startup, and we had a team in Ukraine. It was great. It was amazing. Good engineers. Everything was great. So I go to my bosses and I go, hey, we're going to do this and we're going to build our own team in Ukraine. Our lawyers and our HR team has a heart attack. What do you mean you're going to build a team in Ukraine? We don't know Ukrainian law. We don't know how to do this. There's no way. We're not building a team in Ukraine. Go get an outsourcing company. I said, no, we're not going to do that. And so what I did is I found a partner, I found a company in Ukraine, and they said, your role is going to be very simple. You're a shell, right? You are there to provide space. This is years ago, so everybody's still in the office, right? Remote still means in the office. So you're going to provide, the space, you're going to provide the computer, you're going to provide HR resources, meaning you're going to be our recruiters, but you will not control the hiring decision, the firing decision, the salary decision. We'll do it all on our own, and we'll pay you a service fee to do that. Fine. So that got launched. It was super successful. The teams that we had in Ukraine were more productive than our local teams in the US. it was just working really, really well. So 2.5 years later, I started my own company doing exactly that type of service. So we are a service provider. Mirigos is a service provider that does not have a bench. We have a very transparent business model. People come to us and say, hey, I'm looking for an engineer. I'm looking for a product manager. I'm looking for a UI, UX designer. Here's the skills. But more importantly, we ask, what kind of person are you looking for? Are you a startup? Do you care for people that spend their entire life in banking? Probably not. Are you a larger corporation? You want somebody who, works in 5-people startup teams? Probably not. So we go and we find the right type of a person, what we call the right fit. And then we'll give you the resume and say, go interview them, right? Just like you would for a full-time position. They go through the process, and then they tell us, yes, we like this person, let's go ahead and hire them.
But are they employed by you?
They're employed by us.
They're employed by you?
They're employed by us. That way, we take care of all the compliance, legal, HR. We make sure everybody gets paid legally, because it's very difficult when you work in multiple. We work in 12, 13 countries now. I mean, the number changes all the time.
And how do you price your service?
It's a flat fee. So we charge a flat monthly fee of $1,700 per person per month.
$1,700.
Yes.
That's low.
That's very low.
That's very low.
Yep.
For a programmer.
Yep.
And I guess that person, how do you price?
Plus the salary, right? I mean, there's a salary. So that's our fee.
That's just your fee.
That's just our fee, yeah.
That's your fee on top of the salary that person receives.
Yeah, but that would takes away any motivation from us to push. We don't care, right? If I got 2 candidates and one wants $5,000 and one wants $6,000,
you don't care.
I don't care.
Interesting. Yeah, that's the difference, basically. That's a big difference,
Huge
right?
difference, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And not having a bench, right? So
how did you come up with this 1.7 thousand euro USD?
It just covers because we have recruiting fees, we have our own staff, right? We have our own HR. I mean, we have our own things that we would take care of. So it just came up with that number, and it keeps us in business.
Interesting. Okay, got it. Okay, this is interesting. And how do you get customers for yourself? Because how many customers do you have currently active?
A lot. I mean, there's certain things that I don't, because of our competition, I don't want to talk about some of the customers, and I don't want to talk about some specific numbers.
Okay.
Because it's a fierce competition. This business is a very fierce competition.
How do you get customers?
So we get customers multiple ways. The biggest one is word of mouth.
Okay.
People love us, they tell their friends. Because every CTO has a friend who complains that their outsourcing doesn't work. So they go, hey, I know this guy who happens to do this. We've been in business for so many years, people know us. We do a lot of outreach, right? We do a lot of education.
What type of outreach you do?
Webinars. I actually do my own podcast, really small podcast, where we invite people and we talk about problems of remote outsourcing and remote teams and remote staffing. I come to conferences, right? I speak at conferences and I talk about problems. All of those things. Social media, we do that as well. So we're pretty big in social, specifically in remote teams, remote development.
You try paid ads?
Yes. That didn't work.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine, I saw also the content side, but I can imagine it's like getting you maybe below 50 leads a month that do sign up.
We don't necessarily go after the quantity of leads. We go after quality. We've tried increasing leads. The quality just drops. Because people call in, we start getting calls for personal assistance, or we start getting calls for my favorite one. Yeah, but I've heard I can get a developer for $1,000 a month. Oh, okay, go get a developer for. I'm talking about total. Right? It doesn't exist, right? Yeah. People still have wrong misconceptions, right? They think just because it's somewhere else, it's free.
Yeah. As a service business, what do you think, maybe not what do you think, but what kind of actions do you do to kind of keep customers long-term in a good relationship? Because I can imagine some of the hires that they kind of take and still pay you a service fee, and they pay the programmer with your fees. They are maybe not happy because the person maybe is skipping work, not doing a good job. Maybe some things can happen. It's a service business.
No, absolutely.
What do you do to keep customer relationships at a high level? What have been some key things you're doing?
So we stay in very close interaction with our customers, right? We talk to them all the time. We know what people are doing. It depends. Some people we talk on a weekly basis and some will talk on a monthly basis. It really depends. Like when we're doing active hiring, it'll be several times per week, right? Because we're constantly talking to the hiring manager. I myself will be talking to the hiring manager like about once a week. If everything's just going smoothly, it's going to be less than that. Just like our people change, companies also change, right? Hiring managers change. So sometimes we might have started with one hiring manager, they're long gone, and there's now somebody else who we may or may not have such a close relationship with, just because that's what happens. But there's a fundamental key component in what makes our business work and what makes it successful. We don't do short-term contracts. So we only do long-term, let's say, basically if somebody comes in and says, I'm looking for a person for 6 months, that's not us. We don't do this. It's not our business. Our business is when you're looking to hire somebody for a long term in a position that you would be looking for a full-time employee. Now, funny enough, our contract says you can terminate somebody at any time. There's nothing. You can terminate tomorrow. But we want the intention of somebody coming in and staying for a long time. That builds the relationship. And we always, and this is where the education part comes, stop differentiating remote people with local people. Used to be, and it's less of that, a lot less of it now, so that's a good thing. But it used to be, hey, local people are important, remote people just do what we told them to do. Doesn't work that way. Remote people, just because they're remote doesn't mean that they're any worse, right? They're still very capable, they're very senior, they can do. We have customers where remote people are managing local resources. So we have that way in more than one occasion. We're also not in the business of finding the cheapest resource. So if somebody comes in and says, I'm looking for a $1,000 developer, that's not us. What we are looking for, what we're in the business of, is finding a really good, high quality, perfect fit resource that also happens to be much cheaper than you would pay in the US. But that's not because we pay cheap, it's because different countries have different economies, have different cost of living, etc.
And what would be your advice if, let's say, hey, I'm a tech business or any type of business looking to hire, let's say, a React developer. Mm-hmm. What would be your advice on finding that person if I want to find it myself remotely without an agency or without a service provider like you?
If you want to find it remotely yourself, you are going to have a hard time. Because what's going to happen, you're going to post an ad on your LinkedIn or somewhere, and you're going to get about 1,000 resumes. And all 1,000, those resumes are going to be perfect because they're all written by AI today. They will take your job description and will write a perfect resume for your job. We're seeing this. We're going through very interesting times with recruiting and filtering. So you're going to get all of that, and then you're going to try to filter them out by doing an interview. And then you're going to show up for an interview, and there's somebody on your Zoom call who is an AI avatar. That happens too now.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we've seen this now several times. First time was pretty, we couldn't believe our eyes. And
Okay.
But yes, so you're going to have a hard time doing this. It's not impossible. A lot of people go to sites like Upwork and things like this. And I've done this myself, right? For some small projects, we've gone through to Upwork to try to find resources. We haven't succeeded. I mean, not that we didn't find people. We found people, but it's not worth it. So we like to work with recruiting services.
What are those key things that you as a service provider look for that I would not see? What you would recommend me to do to kind of have that possibility to find somebody good?
Ask a lot of questions. What this person is looking for, what type of job they want to be doing, how they participate, what's their ownership level.
What do you mean ownership level?
If I tell you your job is to go and develop A, B, and C.
Okay.
Are they expecting to get a written down step by step, go do this, or they're going to go and figure this out? They're going to ask questions. They're going to show up for work and they're going to get in, hey, I need to get this done. I'm going to get this done no matter what. If I don't know something, I'm going to go research. I'm going to go find information. That's the ownership level.
Oh, okay.
But hey, go solve a problem. I've seen people that come in and, can I do this? Well, I don't know. Can you do this? Try. What's my answer to any of these questions is, what's the worst thing that can happen? And unless the answer is the company is going out of business, go try. So it won't work.
Okay. Anything else? Good questions? More questions? Deep questions?
You talk to them, right? I mean, there's more questions. People concentrate on technical skills. People do this take-home exercise or share your screen and write, some code, and that's all valid. And you should do all of that. right?
Really?
Absolutely sure.
Like that's basically mean like a small test to see their skill set.
Yeah. But
how do you test it if you don't know code?
There are tools, right? There are actually tools that you could use.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we have people that know code and they test it. They go and do this, right?
Okay.
So we have technical team that does technical screening.
Okay.
But it gets interesting because you give somebody an exercise, take it home. How do you know they wrote it themselves and didn't ask a friend to write it or didn't ask AI to write it? You don't know, right? You have no idea.
You have no idea, exactly.
So you ask them to open this, share a screen, right? And a lot of people do this and say, "Oh, write this," and they forgot something, and you go, "Oh, they don't know it." So what? Is that how they're going to write in real life? No, they have Google, they have AI, they have whatever it is. They can go ask a question. So what you want to figure out is how they think, not what they remember, and that's very, very important differentiator.
How they think.
How they think. How they solve a problem.
Interesting. You covered this topic. We have local teams with, let's say, people in office working, right?
Yep.
And then we have remote people.
Yep.
And you said those people need to be still appreciated. They're still like doing a good job most of the time. But how do you keep them motivated, or how do you make sure that they're doing the job, or how do you check it? And I know there's apps like Desk Time, some software where you can put it on and you'll basically see what they're doing on the website. But I think it's kind of this, I don't trust you, let's put this on so I'm more confident that you're actually doing something. But I have seen some people just, I need to move my mouse so my boss knows I'm working. I have seen that case also.
I've seen that.
Right? So what would be your kind of advice to do that if somebody wants to have people remotely kind of doing a good job in the company?
People do what they're measured on. If you're going to measure a person by how many hours a day they worked, they will work that number of hours. Is that important? Is that how you measure your success or their success? I don't. I measure success by, is this done? I don't care if they worked for 8 hours, 20 hours, or 2 hours. Is that done? So my whole approach is hire adults, treat them as an adults, and get away from from allowing them to be successful. I'll tell you a story. It's actually a true story, a horrible story, but it's a true story. I was interviewed this is many years ago, I don't know, 20 years ago or so. I was interviewed for a job of a VP engineering for a fairly small company, maybe 50 people or so. And it was one of those cases where the existing VP of engineering was leaving. He was still there. He was hiring his own replacement. So I came in, went through one round of interviews, second round of interviews, and then they made me an offer. And so I'm holding this offer. I haven't said yes or no, but I'm holding the offer and I'm thinking about it. There were some red flags that I wasn't sure if I liked it or not, but so I was thinking about it. All of a sudden I get a phone call from the existing VP of engineering and he says, "Let's go have lunch." That's odd, I thought. People don't usually do this, right? It's like, hey, I said, okay, fine, let's go have lunch. So we go have lunch and he tells me, ask me what you want to know, right? Now's your time to ask me questions. Long story short, we get into this whole conversation and I find out that the CEO of the company is a control freak who measures people by how much time they spend in office. Now, as a software company, you don't have the clock in, clock out, right? People show up, they leave. But he gets a printout from the parking garage in the building every week to find out what time you drove in and drove out from the garage. And I'm looking, are you for real? Like, is this what you're measuring? So I said, okay, fine, great. And I asked to meet with few key team members, which I did. And I asked them, is that true? Like, yeah, we all know this. I said, so how do you work around it? Because I told them it's stupid. How do you work around it? It's very simple. We show up in the office and then we sit in our cubicle and we read a book or we do our own thing, but we're in office. He measures it for an office. We're in office. Measure what's important. Don't measure time they spend in office. I don't care. I tell this to all of my employees. I don't like my employees. When I say my employees, I mean people that work directly for Mirigos for us, right? Just to make the mission run. Like, I don't care what time you show up for work. I don't care what time you leave. Don't ask me for permission. Can I please leave early tomorrow? I don't know. Can you go? Is the work done? That's the only measurement.
Let's say, do you have like a guy or person who's like an SDR, a salesperson?
I do.
And how do you measure them? What's the KPI?
The number of leads I get, the response that I get from my marketing campaign. That's all I get. That's what I measure. I don't care how they do it. I don't measure how many messages they send. I don't care. Because you can send 1 million messages and get 0 response. As a matter of fact, you can get a huge response with absolutely useless leads. I get all this, like several times a day, I get a cold email from a company that says, we're going to provide leads for you, right? And cold emails, all this junk that we all get. And over the years, I've talked to several of them. For whatever reason, I felt like, okay, maybe it's somebody. And I asked them questions, I said, how do you measure success? Well, number of people I get. I said, okay, so I pay you, let's say $100 per lead. You're going to pay $5 to your buddy in some country to get on a call with me. That's not a measurement of success. Measurement of success, it's the right type of a lead that I can actually close. You can imagine, I get a lot of phone calls and the person goes like, oh, I'm really sorry, I misunderstood. This is not what I need. And that's fine, right? That's okay. There's a percentage of that. So you only measure by the one thing that matters.
No, I can share my own personal experience with this because I also have a service business where we specialize in something similar to what you just said. We measure success based on the client revenue generated, but again, it's similar also. We kind of want leads. But like, here's the thing which I struggle with. So if I would do that, what I see that happens, the people, in my opinion, just become not organized. And they don't actually do the stuff more. For example, like what we do. We have every day the meeting at 9 o'clock. And in that meeting, we can set the tone, set the agenda, know what everybody's going to do. But if I would basically not do that, because in your case, there's no specific time to arrive. You can just come.
We don't have a 9 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly,
meeting
right?
day.
But I have it.
Okay.
Right? And I am thinking if I would not have that, I would get the team even more spread out, like everybody doing maybe their own thing and not having this accountability. Because for me to have this accountability, what you just said, to measure, I am measuring them, but it's very, very hard to measure them if they do not come aligned on the same time, in my experience.
So who is measuring you and who is aligning you to be there at that meeting and be here? So we started this recording at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
Did somebody come in 5 minutes before 3 and told you, hey, don't forget you got to do this? Or did you know you're doing this?
For me, yes, it's the same. I didn't do it. No, nobody came to tell me that.
So what's the difference? Why can't you hire people doing the other job that have the same ownership and the same responsibility, the same level of responsibility?
But that's my problem. Like, well, maybe that's my.
So
I
that's
agree.
what it is.
I agree.
So,
because I have many people who are late consistently, like late, maybe 4-6 times per month, late on 20 working days.
Okay.
Late for job. Let's say we have a 9 o'clock meeting. They come at 9:20, 9:10.
Have you asked them why?
Yes.
Why?
Car broke down. Yesterday I didn't sleep. Wake up late. Missed my alarm.
Are they doing a good job?
Some of them yes, some of them no.
Why are they still here?
The ones who are not doing a good job?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question.
But that's the only question.
Right.
I didn't ask you that question after they're late for the meeting. I asked you that question after you said that some of them are not good in their job. Why are they still here? Do not tolerate mediocrity, right? Do not tolerate somebody who is not doing a good job.
I sometimes have the scarcity of, let's say, I let them go, and then I have not yet ready replacement for that position. That's my maybe sometimes issue.
Sure, it's always an issue.
It's always an issue. What's your thinking about that?
Oh, very simple. If they take your energy, so if they produce X,
yes,
but the amount of energy, time, and effort and everything that you spent is greater than X, then they're a negative. If they don't exist, you're already better off. You're at 0.
Right? No need.
No need. If they're not doing a good job, say goodbye. But when you look for them, so there are many ways to do this. I've learned about this several years ago. There's a thing called Colby assessment. I don't know if you ever heard about it.
No, what is that?
So it's a test that you give to a person that, and I'm not an expert in it, so I don't want to get into too much details. You can research it. But you can basically assess a person, how their follow through, their quick start, like how well they do their reaction, their initial reaction. It's something, it's not trained, it's how we were built. So for example, if you ask me a question, any kind of question, I'm probably going to give you a response within a second. Now, there may be somebody else, when you ask them the same question, they're going to go and say, let me think about it. Think about it, come back in 10 minutes and give you an answer. That doesn't mean one of us is smarter. It just means we think differently. And so when you're running in business, and for example, the same thing, if you're going to give me a task to finish, I will never finish that task. So I have a call 2 times a week with my marketing person, and that call is not for me to tell her what to do. It's for her to tell me what to do. She's holding me on the call for an hour and a half, twice a week, for me to finish tasks that she knows I will not finish otherwise. That's the personality that I have, right? So that's where we get in, like stuff that I have to post, stuff that I have to write, things I have to review that she wrote. Like, this is our time. We get on that call and she goes, well, look at this document, look at this document, look at this document. That doesn't mean she didn't send those documents to me before. She did. I just never got around to it. We all have, so I will never finish a task. My team knows that. I actually have a published manual on how to work with Zhenya. Anytime I hire somebody, I hand them a manual. This is how you work with me. You don't believe it, but this is how you work with me.
What's written in there?
How you communicate with me. If I didn't reply to if you send me a text, WhatsApp, and I didn't reply in 5 minutes, I will never reply. I forgot about it. Send it again. That's as simple as that. People feel bad. People are like, I don't want to remind him. He's my boss. I want to remind him. I'm like, you don't understand. That probably means I read the message. I probably woke up in the morning, right? It's time difference. I woke up in the morning. I looked at this message. Well, yeah, I got to reply to this. But it was more than yes or no, so I'll reply later. And my brain raced off. I don't remember about that message. I'll never remember about that message. So if you saw that I read it and didn't reply in 5 minutes, remind me.
Okay, so you give a menu to your employees on how to work with you.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's interesting.
I can share it with you later. I mean, I do literally have a manual on how to work with people.
If it's a link, we could put it in the description. It will be interesting, maybe.
Yeah.
Some people can see it.
Yeah,
you can share it?
I could.
Amazing. So if you want to see
I'll send it to you later, yeah.
Under the description of this video, there will be it. So I joined this startup thing where it's called Bad Ideas. They have a startup school to kind of help people to raise money, to kind of know how to raise money, etc. for their tech startups or something like that. And I meet a lot of these people who are also there, and I'm also one of them. And many of us have this issue with finding a good co-founder or kind of engineer that can build a product.
Yes.
Not necessarily a CTO, and because we kind of understand it's like a new startup, basically no money generating, we need a product, we need an engineer. So that's a big issue. What I have done right now, also what you said, posting jobs, this and that, people coming, but what I'm getting is people coming like just as engineers. They don't have this ambition to maybe build a business.
Yes, absolutely.
Like I have a big problem with that.
Yes.
And many of my friends or acquaintances also have this problem.
Yep.
What would be your advice in that kind of situation?
So it's a very difficult situation. Everybody's been there. I've been there. Everybody's been there. When you're building a new business and you're looking for the technical co-founder, the person that's going to build the technical component of that business, you got to realize, and people don't think about it that way, your first engineer, if you don't have a true co-founder, your first engineer will probably not be your future CTO. And this is a big problem. People are looking for the future CTO. But if I'm a CTO, it's rare to find somebody who is good at a big level, at a high level. This is how we're going to build this business. This is how we're going to build all the technology around the business, and then sit down and code that. And people that are really good that are coding it, probably not thinking about, how to do this best so it'll be sustainable a year, 2 or 5 years from now. So you got to accept that. Your first engineer will not be your future CTO. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult because the engineer that comes in their mind, they're already CTO.
Yeah.
So you've got that disconnect from day one.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you probably want to find an advisor, a technical advisor, somebody who is sort of a consultant, who will be that guiding force.
Mm.
Maybe future CTO, maybe not, probably not, right? Probably just an advisor. But they are there to really set the limits, set the guidelines, set the vision, the technical vision, and said, this is how we're going to do this. And then have the engineer implement on that vision. That's what I would say you do.
And also, do you think you need to give shares to that person if they initially join? Because I have seen the situation where they always ask still for a salary, even though they're not coming with this mindset of I'm ready to hustle, grind, just give me an opportunity. They're like, coming to this salary situation, and then that maybe is a bonus for them. What do you think about that?
So is your question, should you give them shares or should you give them shares only? What's your question?
I guess the question is, when they come, let's say I'm looking for this tech person who could build a product. Mm-hmm. I have seen many business owners who are not tech people. They never give shares, never give equity to that person who's the programmer.
Yes.
Giving, not giving, I'm just like kind of like this limbo thing for me, like this fog.
So I believe that you do give shares.
Okay.
And I believe that you are reasonably generous with your shares. That doesn't mean you give out 50% of your company. That's not at all what I'm saying. The reason is, when you give us shares, right? There's a way you give it. You don't just give it. You don't just say, hey, you're gonna get 2% of the company. Here's 2% of your company. It doesn't work that way, right? There's a vesting period. There's a cliff, so they probably get nothing for a year. And then they start vesting over usually 4 years, sometimes 3 years period. That's enough time for you to know if this person is valuable or not. Right. So if they join today and you give them, let's say 1% of the company, and you say the first quarter of that becomes vested after 12 months, you've got 12 months to figure out if this was the right person or not. Mm. But if you don't give it to them, and you just said they're not interested, right? They're not ready to hustle.
I agree.
Well, how would they? Why would they? It's not their business. It's your business.
Yeah, they would not put in the extra.
They don't care, right? Hey, you pay me 9 to 5. You pay me whatever amount of money. It's I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna do that, and that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Mm. I had this follow-up thing on this person who's joining. Right now, I list a task list of what I want the software to have. Mm-hmm. Like a practical example. Mm-hmm. And I write them, and I don't know how long it will take. Right. I don't know. So right now, every week, I sit down in a weekly meeting with that person, and we just check how many jobs they did.
Yes.
And we write from 2 to 5 currently. That's the number per week. How many tasks done? And then I ask, how would you rate yourself from 1 to 10? And that's it. And right now I'm struggling because sometimes I see the tasks and I'm asking myself the question.
Is it really that long?
Is it really that difficult to do like 30, maybe 5, 10 times more than you did? Because some of the tasks seem super simple. Like bug fixes, like stuff like that also for software.
So non-technical people have always this tendency to think everything is easy. I love this. And this is, I can give you examples from real life where, hey, I need this button moved by 5 pixels. Oh, it's going to take me 3 days. You got to be kidding me. And then you go figure out it actually takes that long because of some bad design that was put in there. And it I got to rewrite the whole screen. There's no way to do it. You just got to rewrite this whole screen. This is just an example. So sometimes it's valid. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you have a person who says it's going to take me 3 days and it's really, 2 hours.
But how do you kind of how do you understand it? That's the thing. And you have the technical background. You were an engineer, right?
I do.
I
have a really good bullshit meter. Right, so that's what one of the things.
Bullshit meter. Okay.
Yeah, it's just.
How do you tell it? Like what's like?
It comes with experience. It also comes with the body language and reactions when I ask why. I'm going to ask questions why until.
So you okay. So yeah. So your advice is, hey, put the task and ask the person how long each of them will take.
Yeah.
That's your advice.
Yeah.
Okay, and then ask why.
And you ask why. So how long is it going to take you to fill up this, glass with water? It's going to take me 5 minutes. Why? Because I have to go get water. How far is it there? How long is it going to take you to get there? A minute? Why is it 5 minutes? Right? So just you keep asking these questions. Why?
Don't they feel micromanaged when you're doing that? It's like kind of micromanaging, right? What do you think?
It's a fine line. Yes, they will be. But if you're asking it, generally trying to understand it. So if you're trying to manage them because you already know it's not going to take 5 minutes, then it's one thing. But if you're really trying to understand, really, it's going to take you 5 minutes. The water is there. Like, why is it 5 minutes? Then it's not micromanaging. It's like, educate me. Explain to what I don't know.
Okay. Right? And then I have this second dilemma. Again, I'm like asking too much. Like I want to get to maybe my personal experience, but still, I think many people have this issue. I have some people in the pipeline from the interviews, which I found out I can actually, it's interesting. I found out I can say, do a job for free and I'll check if I take you in the company.
Okay.
Or if I like you, right? And then I have right now some people in the pipeline who need to do a test job.
Yes.
And then I'm thinking, how would you what would you do if they do, let's say, a really good job on the test job? What would you do? But if you have limited resources, because let's say I have limited resources, I currently have 2 developers, and I need to basically get rid of one and then hire that person if that person is really great. Or basically they did the job and I need to say, hey, it's not good and we're not going to take you.
So let me understand this. So, you have somebody in the pipeline.
Yes.
And you are thinking you'll give them a task.
Yes. I gave them already a task. They need to program some feature on our development.
Why do you have a pipeline if you don't have an open position?
No, basically they came, all of them, in like 2 weeks, like a lot of interviews. I did a lot of interviews. And I got some of them which I liked immediately, but I have some of them which seem to be talking very good, looking weird, but talking very good, but looking really weird. And I was like, but they're really good.
But you don't have an open position. Why are you wasting your time? Forget about them, right? For a second, forget about them. That's my next question. Why are you wasting your time? You don't have an open position. Why? What are you trying to do?
But if I have this mindset, if I found this person who's like legit rock star, I need to like replace them as soon as possible.
Are you not happy with 2 developers that you have?
Nah, I'm like a 7 out of 10, I think. Happiness.
Okay,
level.
so if you're
yeah,
if you're not happy with them and you're looking to upgrade them,
yes,
then that's one thing.
Yes.
Keep in mind, upgrading them, you're gonna lose knowledge because you only have 2.
What do you mean?
It's what we call tribal knowledge, right? There's stuff that they know because they've been here, they've been writing this code. There's stuff they know. They leave, the new person comes in.
Again,
what's the first thing that every new developer says? The code that's written is shit. I have to rewrite it. That is the first words that every developer says anytime they're hired.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna get that. So what you may want to consider doing is find a rock star, hire a 3rd person.
Okay.
Let it settle in, and then see if you can replace one of the people that you have.
That would be a better option, right?
Because then just replacing is actually going to be really tough.
Yeah, right.
Because, I mean, if you have 10 people team and you're replacing one, that's one thing.
Yeah, that's simple.
But if you've got 2, that's 50. You're replacing one is 50%.
Yeah.
And if you're not happy with both, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is like a common thing, at least for me. But how did you do with your software service? Or did you build it yourself?
No, I did not build it myself. So I actually went through exactly the same thing that you did. I started looking for a person who would be the technical co-founder, and I found an excellent person who did this. And he wrote it. And he wasn't the first one. We've tried few and it didn't work.
You tried few?
Yes, we've tried few.
When you say you tried few, didn't work, what do you mean specifically?
Like we hired somebody.
He started to do it?
And just it wasn't working.
How long?
We've gone through, I think, 3 people, as little as a week, as long as a couple of months.
But it's like, as you told me, approximately 1 year old, this SaaS.
We launched it a year ago. It took us longer it took us time to build it.
Launched it in 1 year. And how did this SaaS kind of acquire customers? What were your strategy, marketing?
Purely cold email outreach.
Cold email outreach.
Yeah, we started reaching out to, so as any marketplace, it's a chicken and egg, right? You can't attract people until, so
very tough.
We started posting our own positions and attracting talent. Candidates.
Candidates that resell later.
As we built candidates, we started attracting. So we're sort of doing it step by step.
And the cold outreach, when you say cold outreach, can you give me perspective of how many emails per month or per day were sent?
Oh, for that one?
Yeah.
I would say maybe a couple hundred per day, but it's also candidates. So it's very difficult. Or different, sorry. Because the idea is, right, you're sending a candidate an email, hey, there's this position, are you interested? A person naturally goes in and looks at it, and as they look at it, they register. So we sort of hacked it.
What do you mean? Didn't understand it a little bit.
So we posted positions.
Okay.
Right? So let's say we had a position for front-end engineer.
Yes.
We posted on our site.
Yes.
And then we went and we have, it's not that hard to find emails of, 1,000 front-end engineers.
Yeah.
So we send them an email and say, hey, I have this position. Are you interested in it?
Yeah.
And there was a link to the position. They went in, clicked on the link, and it says register to see the position. So they registered.
Okay. And but you build a more bigger database. Yeah. How do you know who to send? You just get the LinkedIn emails, or how do you know who to send?
There's plenty of sources to get emails. So LinkedIn, other job sites.
Any tools to send emails with you found the best?
There's so many. I mean, no. Anyone I'll tell you that was good yesterday is probably bad today because Gmail hacked them or something. Right? They change constantly. This is one of the problems with cold emails. And it's getting harder and harder. Yeah, I can tell you, about 10 years ago, I was doing most of the business growth through cold emails. Today, very minimal.
Difficult.
Very difficult. And now it's even more difficult. I've noticed over the past 2 months or so, number of cold emails in my inbox has dramatically increased because of AI. So Gmail is not catching them. I used to just send them to spam. Now Gmail is not catching them because they're written by AI, but all it means, Gmail is going to get even stricter and it's going to catch even more. So I don't believe in cold email today as a valid, sustainable way.
Nowadays, like the most right now is like YouTube content, like content-driven growth seems to be kind of the place to go.
Yes.
It can be LinkedIn, it can be any sorts of place to place content.
Yeah,
it's like kind of more like sharing what you know. Yes. But still, what the majority of the businesses I interview from Latvia and Baltics, and also you're from US, but majority of them still paid ads, like majority of traffic. Most of these businesses paid ads.
Yeah,
paid media basically. Not ads.
We've tried that and it just didn't work for us.
Yeah.
At some point we'll try. One thing that I did and worked really well for me and still works, I self-published a book 2 years ago now. And that works, right? So because it does two things. First of all, people, and this was my third book this was my first one that I published on my own, and there were a couple that I co-authored with somebody else, and people look at it and they go, okay, this person, right? If they're writing a book, they know it, but also we give the book for free, and that's how we get data.
What's the topic of the book?
How to make distributed teams work. It's all the secrets. Yeah, it's all the secrets of distributed team. I wish I didn't bring it with me. I should have brought a couple of copies. Okay. Yeah.
Interesting. So let's now kind of recap to one important thing. So let's say I am looking at our conversation and I'm like, wow, this recruitment business is kind of really great. Now the question is, I want to start that kind of business. Mm-hmm. What would be your advice, tips, tricks on how to start that business successfully and reach, let's say, 10,000 in the first 3 months? What would your advice be?
A recruitment business?
Yes, something similar to what you're doing, but what would be the steps? Maybe some like 5-6 steps. What should you do?
So I can tell you a few things that we did that helps us tremendously. Number one, right? And this is not something that I can tell you. I mean, we're okay at it, but somebody could be better, and hopefully they're better. Your number one is to get customers, right? You can't run a business until you get your customers. But then number two is you gotta really get your pipeline going, and you gotta get your process of recruiting going. So one thing that we do that is fundamentally different from any other competitor that I know of. Usually, we have recruiters, right? We have recruiters that we work with. And usually everybody has recruiters centralized. So if the company is based in Ukraine, they're going to have recruiters in Ukraine. If the company is based in US, they're going to have recruiters in US, etc.
When you say recruiters, you mean other people who are also finding the talent?
Well, there are our recruiters that are finding the talent, right? I mean, how do we find the talent?
They're basically your sales agents, you mean?
They're not sales agents. They're recruiters to get the candidate.
Mm-hmm.
They're not, they're not
similarly to sales, no?
Similarly to sales, okay. But it's not really sales because we don't sell anything to them. We go, but they have to call the person and say, hey, I saw your resume. We think your resume is a good match for a position that we have. They interview them, they talk to them, they figure out, hey, it is probably a good match, right? It's the right person. They're interested. The salary is aligned, everything's aligned. And then they come in and they do this. So we we work in many different countries across Latin America and Europe. And we have recruiters in all these different locations, or in most of these locations, which cost us a lot more than if we had them centrally.
Okay.
But it gives us much better and much faster result. So if I'm looking for an engineer in Argentina, I've got recruiters in Argentina that are looking for them. If I'm looking for an engineer in Poland, I've got recruiters in Poland. It does a lot. So not only it gets me better people, but it closes position faster. Because these recruiters, they know local market. They know where to go. They know who to talk to. They've got their networks. They've got their connections. They can call somebody and say, hey, do you know somebody who's looking for this type of position? I have this position. So that's how we're able to close positions very quickly. That's one thing that we do. We close positions incredibly quickly, and that's what customers love. So when you're going to do this, if you're opening this business, obviously, sales, right? And sales is to get the client, but also make sure you figure this out on the internal side.
How would you think about the niche for, let's say, kind of niching down? Because you're niche down on developers.
Right.
Do you currently also would niche down, not niche down? What would you think about the niching?
You have to, right? I mean, your niche could be small or large, but it has to be niche. Like somebody comes to us today and says, hey, can you help us with marketing people? I don't know. We don't have the expertise because I don't know how to recruit for marketing. I don't know how to screen for marketing. I don't know, if I'm going to talk tomorrow to a marketing person, I don't have enough confidence to know that they're the right person or the wrong person. Yeah. If I'm talking to a developer, I do. And when I say developer, so we don't do just developers, right? We do anything development related. It's product managers, project managers, designers, obviously, QA, data analytics, also all of that. So anything that has to do with software dev. So that's what we do. But then you got to make sure your operations are running, right? We have our operations run. They run on time. They run perfectly. We don't make mistakes because that's what we do. That's what we help our customers do. We set up an interview. We set up, the time. We make sure that the candidate shows up. You're dealing with people, and the people are the most imperfect creations that there are, right? They're people. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Or I didn't. You were telling me people late for your, meetings. People late for interviews. People don't cancel. Oh, I got sick. I didn't tell you. God, like seriously. So we make sure to minimize this.
How do you minimize it?
Active management. This is where you micromanage. We micromanage the candidates, and to some extent, hiring managers too.
But how many? What's the process? Let's say I am booking an interview.
Yes.
Let's say let's say in 3 days, 5 o'clock. Yes. What's kind of the process that's going to happen for me to make sure I'm actually going to come to that interview?
You're going to get a reminder. So if it's on your calendar, you're actually going to get a reminder, email or text, probably a day before. You're probably going to get one about an hour before. A lot of it varies.
That can be automated. I can imagine, right? Emails and SMS, text reminders, easily automated.
Some of it is automated, some of it is not.
Okay.
Because we are very big on relationships, and so our recruiters build the relationship with the candidate, just like we build a relationship with the company.
Okay.
So a lot of it is not automated. I mean, obviously, the reminder that comes from the calendar is automated, of course.
Okay.
But there's actually just ping them, hey, are you sure you're ready? Do you have any questions? So not everything's automated.
Okay, got it.
I don't believe we're ready to replace. So this is something I'm going to talk at RigoCom tomorrow. AI and automation is not ready to replace human beings yet. And I'll say yet. I don't know when it will be. At some point might be, but I'm not worried that it's going to replace humans. I'll probably retire before it truly replaces humans. So no, big thing is there's this human connection. And you have to build a human connection with your candidate, with your client, with everybody involved. Because how do you make a person choose you over somebody else? A candidate is interviewing with multiple companies. A client is interviewing multiple candidates. Most of all of our clients work with more than one agency. They don't just work with us.
Multiple, right? Yeah, all the time.
And that's fine. We encourage it because we know we're good. I'm not afraid of competition because I know we're better. Now, am I always the cheapest? No. but I'm always the most value driven. I have this constantly. Hey, but I have this person who is $2,000 cheaper. And then I look at the resume and I say, hey, show me the resume. Of course they're $2,000 cheaper. There's always somebody cheaper.
Mm.
We're not in business of selling you the cheapest, but we are in business of selling you the right person at the right price in a fully transparent way.
For your business, how has this AI trend impacted, let's say, sales or client interest? Because what I hear and see that basically big tech companies laying off people, not needing so much engineers, they can do it with less. You know, what kind of is happening in your...
We've already seen several cycles of that. We're not going to hire anybody because AI is going to replace everybody. We're going to lay people off because AI is doing great. Oh, wait, we have to hire people because AI is not doing what we expected it to do. So, we've seen this already over the past year. We've seen the few waves of that. I believe the big risk is for very entry-level junior positions because a lot of that will be replaced. But engineers are still engineers, and AI is not there yet. It will be, at some point it will be, but it's not there yet. AI is a great tool. We use AI, right? At Mirigos, we use AI. We have a lot of tools. Some of them I actually built myself. We use AI to analyze resumes. We use AI to analyze interviews. So all of our interviews that we do, or technical screens that we do with candidates are screened or they're recorded and analyzed by AI. Not only at the level of technical skills, but presentations, everything. Because we build a pretty neat agent that does that. So AI is great. Use it.
Right.
Don't hope it's going to replace it.
But business-wise, you said like fluctuation, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying sometimes you feel it, but don't?
We feel it all the time, but it comes and goes. The whole economy, it fluctuates.
Okay.
There are times when we have more positions than we can handle, and there are times when we're sitting going, what happened? Where are all the positions?
Got it. Okay, let's go to the ending part. So quick fire questions. You married with kids? No kids? Yes,
I got 2 kids.
2 kids.
Yeah.
Married? Not married?
Married. Yeah, I'm married with 2 kids. My older is 17. My younger is just turned 12.
What kind of hobbies do you have?
Do they have?
No, you.
Oh, I have? I love to travel. I'm into photography, but really, I travel a lot.
Any best books you would recommend somebody to learn, which you have found valuable for yourself in your life?
There's so many. I actually have on my site, on my personal site, a list of books. Some of them pretty basic. I don't want to go into because different books for different people and for different cases. Like I work a lot with startup community, and so there's certain books that I go, hey, you may want to pay attention to this. If you're in sales, if you're in business, there are probably some other things, finances, and just how to run businesses. One book that people laugh at me, and it's a really old book by Carnegie, how to win friends, how to
win friends and influence people.
Yeah, and influence people. Yeah, there you go.
That's a classic.
That's a classic. But I think that's a book that everybody must read. And, it doesn't change. Human beings don't change.
Yeah. Interesting that you say that. It's like more what I remember from that book is kind of making people like you.
Yeah.
And how you do that? Saying their name, listening when they
Exactly. Listen to them, right?
Listen to them.
Be active, participate.
Right.
I've got a 17-year-old, and it's very interesting how they communicate very differently than we used to communicate and still communicate.
Yeah.
And sometimes he'll stalk you and he's on his phone. And he's talking to me like, put down your phone. Like, why? I can do both. Like, no, put down your phone. Just basic stuff.
It's different. Yeah. What would be a skill that you don't yet know, but you would love to learn, but you don't totally know? It can be like Chinese. It can be like anything.
Actually, funny. Learning Chinese is probably helpful, and it's becoming more and more helpful. One thing that I really want to learn, and I don't know enough about it, is just the proper marketing skills. Like, I'm not a marketer. I myself is not a marketer. I'm more of a business person, right? So I'm very entrepreneurial. I make decisions. I run things. I come up with wild, crazy ideas. but I'm not a marketer, and that's something that I'm a decent salesperson, but that's something that I want to learn. Like, how do you really market? What's the secret of it? Not, hey, it just happened.
Cool. If I would go to you in LA, what activities would you take me, and what we would do? Fun activities.
I would probably take you out of LA.
Out of LA? Yeah. Where would you take me?
Oh, California is beautiful. There's so many things you can do in California. Vegas is...
It's like I'm fighting 5 hours, right? Something like that.
It's 4 hours by car. It's 4 hours if you drive.
So what we would do?
Listen, LA is actually a lot of fun. You can go and spend time at the beach, and you can actually literally ski and go to the beach at the same day.
On the mountains, yeah.
Yeah. They're really about an hour and a half away. You can go ski. Okay. We do in the winter. I mean, obviously, we don't go to the beach, but you can. There are many beautiful places in LA. I'm not a fan of LA. I'll be honest. I live there. I've been living there for many, many years. I'm not, like, to me, it's a artificial city.
Artificial?
Yeah,
why do you say that?
People are artificial. It's too much driven by what people think about you,
really?
As opposed to what you really are.
Yeah. I thought it was like chill city, like chill. For me, the association is like chill. Actually, like chill. Because I was in this El Seguente.
El Seguente.
El Seguente. I was like chill, like the chill, like people chilling, like walking, not even driving. Well, okay, not many people walking. Okay, everybody uses a car.
Everybody, yeah. In LA, like you drive everywhere.
It was more chill.
It is chill city. It is,
right?
But it's a crazy city, and a lot of it's driven by Hollywood.
What happened with the big fire thing? I remember there was like huge fire.
Yeah, last January, February. Yeah, it was a big fire.
It's crazy.
It erased basically 2 neighborhoods in LA.
Right? It's like insane.
It is insane.
Was there some speculation that was like a on purpose done, or no? No. Interesting.
I don't know anything. I mean, I don't know.
Cool. Okay, maybe last thing. What would be your top advice for anybody who's entrepreneurial, wants to be an entrepreneur, or is an entrepreneur, for them to be more successful?
I would say my top advice is to meet as many people as you can. And when you meet them for the sake of just talking and meeting them. Don't make it a business transaction. I do see a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business people, they meet others with immediately an idea of what can I get out of it. And that doesn't lead to good things. Just meet people, make friends. And you never know where those things will lead. They may not. You may just make a good friend or it may be a connection. But do this, and also don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's the biggest thing. If you're an entrepreneur, analysis paralysis is your biggest enemy. Don't try to come up with the perfect answer. Go do it, and if it doesn't work, adjust, change. It's not a 5-year effect. It's a 5-day effect, and you'll know if it's working or not working. Cool.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks.
Now you and I are cemented into the YouTube history of the BlackBox show. So
that's cool.
Let's maybe chill a little bit later and see you in the RigaCon.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Thank you. Bye.
Cool.